Hey gang, Uncle Todd here, along with Sonny. And man, what a Christmas special they had for Doctor Who. The new guy, what's his name? Cutie Gatwa. Great doctor. First time the doctor's had a mustache, and he rocks it. And I'm liking the new companion, Ruby. We start out at this church at night, and this woman drops off a baby at the church, and then the doctor shows up in his TARDIS, looking very distraught. We then cut 2 years forward into the 2000s, and our new companion Ruby is on a talk show with actual real life celebrity Davina McCall. And this is a thing where they're going to take DNA results of Ruby and see if they can't find her birth parents. She was in the foster care and then got adopted by her foster parents. Then this creature that we only see the hands of starts fiddling around with things and causes an accident in which a major stage light almost falls on Ruby, but she gets pulled out of the way. But Davina gets hit with a plug that comes unstuck. We then jump ahead another year, and Ruby is playing in a band, and the little hands again start fiddling with stuff, and all the power on the band's instruments goes out. Then we jump ahead to another year, and Ruby's at a nightclub, and the doctor is there wearing a kilt, because why not? And he was at the club where they were playing as a band too, but he didn't really interfere at that point. And he talks to Ruby and finds out she is very accident prone, but he says she isn't. And then as she and her friends leave and get in a taxi, a giant snowman on one of the buildings is coming loose. And the doctor uses his new sonic screwdriver to cause the traffic light that they're stopped at to go to green, and they pull away, and unfortunately a woman with a baby buggy is coming, and he stops her, and then the thing falls on him, but it's an inflatable, so he doesn't get hurt. We then jump to this year, and Ruby is coming home to her mother, Carla, and her grandmother, Cherry. Her name is Sunday. So it's Ruby Sunday, Carla Sunday, and Cherry Sunday. Ruby was adopted by them when she was in foster care, and they've fostered children for years. And they're getting a new baby, Lulabelle. And the running joke is that Lulabelle is a horrible name, and everybody mentions that. Anyway, Carla goes. Cherry is bedridden, and Carla goes out to get some more baby supplies. They didn't expect Lulabelle that day. And while Ruby is on the phone with Davina, who called to tell her that they couldn't find any DNA match for her parents, and that Davina, who is sitting in a wheelchair with a broken leg, a broken arm, and a neck brace, is going to talk about ever since that day she's been having nothing but these horrible accidents, and she wants to know if Ruby knows how to make them stop. And Ruby doesn't. At this point, Christmas tree falls on her, and the star is aimed right at her head. Ruby then goes to find that the baby's missing, and she sees something go up the skylight. So she grabs a ladder, goes from the skylight onto the roof, and finds these little green creatures. Goblins. They look like goblins. They are goblins. They are cute and menacing and funny all at the same time. And they take the baby up a rope ladder, and Ruby grabs onto the ladder, has the wooden sailing ship, which is floating in the sky, takes off. And as she's floating there, having difficulty hanging on, the doctor comes running across the rooftops, yelling at her why she's doing that. And then he jumps on the ladder, and he shows her his magic gloves, which will take all the weight off of their bodies and put it on the gloves. So they're able to hold on to the ladder. They get pulled up to the goblin ship, where they are immediately captured. Turns out the goblins are preparing to eat the baby. And that we learn from the doctor all about the science of coincidence and the language of rope. Because all the goblin technology is rope based. And once the doctor has figured out how to read the ropes on the ship, he gets them out of the cell they're held in, after he unties himself, because, he spent a summer with Houdini, which is a nice callback to Jodie Whittaker's time as a doctor. Although I think there's been a few other times the doctor's mentioned knowing Houdini. Anyway, we then get the Goblin song, which is amazing. And the baby is being seasoned and sent up a conveyor belt to the giant Goblin King, who is very Jabba the Hutt-like. Well, the doctor misreads the rope language and falls down on the conveyor belt, he and Ruby, where they do an impromptu second verse, or new verse for the song that the goblins are singing, grab the baby, and then it turns out he didn't misread the ropes, he had planned it, and is able to grab a rope. The door opens, they drop through, using the magic gloves to increase their weight so that they fall very quickly down back to the roof, where they are now safe for the moment. In which the doctor goes into about coincidences and how the science of coincidences is what goblins use to find their targets. And about this time, Carla comes home, and there's a big talk back and forth. Hey, who is this good-looking man you've got here with you? Well, he's the doctor. Doctor of what? And as she keeps talking, she keeps mentioning coincidences. The doctor's an orphan. Ruby's an orphan. Ruby doesn't know where she came from. The doctor doesn't know where he came from. It's just that they all keep increasing these coincidences. And then there's this loud pop. And then there's a hole in the window. And the ceiling of their flat has a huge crack that runs through it almost to the kitchen. And then the doctor notices the goblins are gone. Ruby is gone. And Carla, who has still has Lulabelle, did not foster children throughout the year and have a happy life and full of love and happiness. And she's very sad and doesn't like kids and only does it for the money. And the doctor realizes the goblins have gone back in time to where Ruby was picked up, and they're going to eat her instead. So doctor rushes back, sees the goblins take Ruby, gets aboard the ship. He grabs the rope, and using his gloves with the last of the power he has in it, because you can't create something with infinite power, increases the weight to the extent that he is pulling the goblin ship down until he finally skewers it on one of the steeples of the church, also skewering the Goblin King, at which point the entire ship implodes on itself and falls apart and disappears. Ruby falls out of that, and the Doctor catches her, and he puts right the past. Ruby is then taken in by the church, and he has the opportunity to go see who Ruby's mother is, but chooses not to. Runs back to our present, and sees that Ruby's there. He's happy, everything is as it should be, and he's going to take his leave. Whereupon he has a brief conversation with Ruby's neighbor, Mrs. Flood, who had seen the TARDIS disappear earlier. And then Ruby realizes some of the things the Doctor said make her realize there's more going on than even she had become aware of, and rushes out, and Mrs. Flood tells her good luck. Ruby goes to the TARDIS, it opens for her, and she says, of course, "Who are you?" To which he replies, "Me? I'm the Doctor." And then the TARDIS disappears again. Another one of Ruby's neighbors sees this. Mrs. Flood kind of scoffs at him, and then turns to the camera and says, "It's like you've never seen a TARDIS before." Really good introduction to the new Doctor. I'm digging him. He's very upbeat and funny. There's a great sequence when they're tied up and captured, and he's explaining the Goblins sail through time with their ship randomly. They can, as they did with going back in time, they can choose where to go, but mostly they just go wherever the winds take them. And so she calls them a time traveler, and he goes, no, they're not. Time travelers are cool. Goblins aren't cool." Which is kind of a throwback to Matt Smith, who was always calling everything cool. But yeah, it was funny, and I'm digging his outfits. He's changes his outfits a lot in this episode. He shows off at least 4, I believe. All very colorful, as befitting a very colorful personality. Yeah, Ruby, liking Ruby, she's for the first time in a while, she's actually chosen to travel with the Doctor. Most kind of end up getting kind of pulled in during an adventure, but here she chooses to go into it, which, or not invited. They're either, because like Rose was invited and Donna was invited, but Ruby she enters it on her own, and that's kind of cool. And I like her personality. Again, very upbeat, but she's got a toughness about her, befitting her childhood. Yeah, all in all, great episode. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the new season this, I believe, May. And I'm very upset that they're having us wait that long. But yeah, if you get a chance and you've got Disney Plus, I'd say check it out. It's a new era for the Doctor, and I am here for it. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.